So in 3.3, we are multiplying and dividing decimals. So this is a little bit of a messy question, but that says 7.39 or 7 39/100 times 2 1/10. So what do you know about multiplying decimals? The decimals don't have to be lined up. So addition and subtraction really is harder. You have to remember to line up your decimals. But in this case, where we're multiplying, you don't have to line them up. You just put them in an arrangement that you are comfortable with for multiplying. And then what do you do next? You just multiply. Okay, so 9 times 1?
9.
3 times 1?
3.
7 times 1?
7.
And then we bring down a placeholder because we're moving to the tens place, right?
18.
9 times 2?
18.
Carry a 1. 3 times 2 plus 1?
7.
And 7 times 2?
14.
Good. And then you simply add the way we normally do, right? And now, Ryan, what do?
You count how many numbers are behind the decimal, and it's 3.
Okay, so there are 2 numbers behind the decimal here,
And 1 behind.
and 1 to the right of the decimal there, for a total of
3.
3 decimal places
Count 3 decimal places over.
from the right. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, and there you go. So you know what to do. Good. So this is a bit of review for you. Okay, here's a little something you can do, and this is really useful when you are getting ready for your Iowa testing, which is next week, your standardized testing. You can make sure that you were kind of in the right ballpark by using your estimation. So 7 39/100 rounds really to 7, and 2 1/10 rounds to 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. So is 15 just a little more than 14?
Yes.
So this is a low estimation because we rounded 7 to something a little less than what it really was, right? 7 39/100. And we rounded 2 down a little bit too, didn't we? So, but it is a way to use front-end estimation to check your answer and make an estimate. See if you're reasonable. And in some multiple choice tests, the answers they provide are so spread apart that just estimating you could get an answer. You know what I'm saying? So if the multiple choice test said, for this question, said 10.519, 15.519, 20.519, they're so spread apart that just by estimating you'd say, well, this is a little greater than 14. So it must be the 15.519. Okay? We're going to put the steps for multiplying decimals all in one place in a nice box, so it could be, you could teach somebody else this method. The first thing we did was multiplied the decimals just like they were whole numbers. And then, Ryan, what did you ask us or tell us to do?
To count the decimals.
In the factors.
Numbers behind the decimal.
Very good. So you add the decimal places in the factors, you sum them up, and you place that many decimal places in your product. The decimal place in the product is the sum of the factors' decimal places. And that's it. It's just really 2 steps. Okay, go ahead and try these, and then pause the video, come back when you're ready to check your answers. I'm going to have a few students come up and show their work here. Okay, so we do not need to line up the decimals, but we do need to count the number of decimal places in each factor, add that up, and make sure that the product has that many places. Okay? How about dividing decimals? Let's try that, and we'll make a rule box for dividing decimals. Okay, so leave about 4 or 5 lines. Leave 5 lines. We're going to make this rule after we go try one. So here's one to try. We're going to try A first. Okay? We don't usually leave an expression looking like this when we go do the division. So what do we do to divide these 2 decimals? Anyone else? Stuart?
Don't we get them to the 4 numbers?
We can't. So we're going to make this look like long division though, right? Which number goes in the doghouse? Good. 56.95 goes in the house. It's being divided by 6 and 7/10. So we don't necessarily need to make them both whole numbers.
Oh, just
The one, which one do we want to change to be without a decimal, really? Okay, 6 and 7/10. So the divisor, we call that one the divisor. Everyone say it?
the
It is doing the dividing, doing the cutting into the dividend. Everyone say dividend? That's what's inside of there, the dividend. So we're going to multiply this by 10, really. We're going to move the decimal one place to the right, making it a bigger number. 67 is bigger than 6.7, right? But when we multiply the divisor by 10, we've got to multiply the dividend by 10 as well. Or when we move it one place to the right, we've got to move the dividend's decimal one place to the right as well. So here it is now in the dividend. Let's bring it up to the top so we remember where that is. Okay? And now can 67 go into 5? Can it go into 56? So now we have to figure out how many times 67 goes into 569, 569. Well, it can definitely go into 100 one time, right? And we've got 500s there. And then 69 it could go into too, right? So we know this thing can go in at least 6 times. Do you think it might go in 7 times? Who thinks 7? Who thinks 8? 8? Did you test it? Okay, so Kenzie, could it go in 9 times? No, it's not that big. So we'll try 8. 67 times 8. 7 times 8 is?
56.
I thought I heard 60. And 6 times 8 plus 5? 53, right? So 536 looks like a good number. And then we just go ahead and subtract like we do normally with division, right? And so 9 minus 6, 6 minus 3, and then we bring down the 5. We bring down that next number. I'm sorry? We don't have to bring the decimal down. We simply have to make sure that the decimal is moved straight up into our quotient. Okay, so 335, what would your estimate be? Well, 5? Is it a perfect fit, 5? It is? Okay, so 5, and so he's done the math already. 7 times 5, 35, 6 times 5 plus 3 is 33, yay. No remainder, and there it is, 8.5. Okay, so the steps, you know, the reasoning, how you do something in math is often a higher level thinking than just doing it. So we want to go back and make sure we write these steps down and understand what it is we just did. And you all looked pretty strong at that, so good. So the first thing we did was we made the divisor an integer. So go ahead and jot that down. Make the divisor an integer, moving your decimal to the right. What was the second thing we did? We moved that divisor one place, right? So then what did we go do? Come on, think. This is, I know, a little harder than just doing the equation, but Teddy. Dividend. Good job. So we move the dividend too. We change the dividend to move the decimal the same places to the right. Good. And where did the decimal end up in the quotient? Audrey.
100.
Okay, so why did it end up in that location? Izzy. So we had moved the decimal to the right in our dividend, and then we put the decimal straight up, right? Straight up above the dividend. So we divide and we place the decimal. We did it straight up above. Here it was in the dividend, so we moved it straight to that place value in the quotient. Okay, good. So we're ready to try it again with this expression here. 55 thousandths divided by 2 5/10. So I'm gonna, you guys pause the video if you happen to be watching it on video and come back and check your work. Okay, so good job. We have moved the decimal one place over in the divisor and one place over in the dividend. The decimal goes straight up. Stuart rewrote this so that it looks like 25 going into 55 hundredths. And then he had to add a 0 at the end of 55 to finish the problem, where there was no remainder. And we have the answer 22 thousandths. Okay, good job. Don't forget your rules about negatives. As you're doing these, of course, it's a negative year. So we're going to end up seeing negatives in the multiplication and the division. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and try these. Okay, for number 12, is this product going to be positive or negative? Negative. So you might want to go down and put the negative down, because often people get so involved with the decimal stuff, then they forget that this is that negative year, right? So we can now put negative 9.6 over 0.64. You could also write it the other way. Doesn't matter, right? And 6 times 4?
24.
And 9 times 4 plus 2?
38.
Good job. And 6 times 6?
36.
And 9 times 6 plus 3 is 57. Good job. And now when we 8 plus 6?
14.
Carry the 1. 7 plus 3 plus 1?
11.
And carry the 1.
6.
How many decimal places? And your answer is negative 6.144. Good. And now which of these numbers here, Olivia, which of these numbers goes in the doghouse? Good. So what will the quotient be, positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. It's a positive, right? So I don't even need to write the negatives in this expression, do I? A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I can just make it look all positive right now. But don't forget the answer is positive. Not hard usually to remember, to forget that one, right? And so Olivia, what do we do? So here we go. It goes right up there. 25, can it go into 5?
Yes.
Can it go into 53?
Yes.
And 25 times 2 is?
50.
And can 25 go into 35?
Yes.
How many times? And what do we have left?
10.
So here we need to do what?
Add a 0.
Add a 0, drop it down. And 25 goes into 100 4 times, which is 100. Good job. Okay, here's your assignment. You should have plenty of time right now to work on this.